Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be another episode of the Championship Transfer Rumour Roundup. And since I did my last video of the Championship Rumour Roundup, we've had some massive completed deals go through in the Championship, which will all be discussed today, as well as the latest rumours currently circulating around the Championship. So if you guys are new around here, make sure you do subscribe. It is always massively appreciated. We are now approaching 5,000 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. So if you do subscribe, it is massively appreciated. Also as well, I will be doing probably in the next week, if it's not next week, it'll be the week after, when I do my championship predictions for where I think each club will finish this season. So I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to that video. That should be coming soon. Also as well, thank you so much for all the support you guys showed on the last video. If you've not seen that, definitely go check it out. In that video, I ranked all of the kits that the championship teams are going to be using this season, and since that video has gone out, Preston North End, my team, have released their kit. So we'll take a quick look at it. Here are the kits which Preston are going to be using this season, and I think the first thing that stands out is we've got a green kit. And if you've not seen the last video, here's what I said about green kits. I mean, I'm just going to ignore that green kit. You know my thoughts on this already. I'm just not a big fan of that. I think goalkeepers can pull it off, but wearing green outfield, that shade of it as well, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. So basically, I've been mugged off by Preston there with them giving us a green kit. But talking about the other two, I am actually quite a fan of them. The white kit, we've kept it quite simple this year, but I like it. I think it looks pretty fresh. And if I had to give that a grade in, I'd give it around the B. But the thing I love most about the Preston kit launch is the look on Ben Pearson. He just looks like he's ready for a scrap already, and the season's not even started yet.
If you want some, I'll give it you.
So let me know down below, guys, what are your opinions on the new Preston kits for the upcoming season. But enough of that, let's get into some completed transfers. So we could only start in one place. That is, of course, the transfer of Brit Assombalonga. Now, I got the impression that this could be one of those rumours which rumbles on for the entirety of the transfer window, but it has finally been resolved, and Middlesbrough will be his destination. Last season for Nottingham Forest, he managed to grab 14 goals in the 20 starts he did make, so I think it's fair to say in the Championship he is a pretty prolific goal scorer. I highly rate him. I think he's fantastic. When I saw him last season when he came to Deepdale, he scored a terrific goal against us, and Middlesbrough, I think it has to be said, their attacking options going into this season are pretty scary. Another striker who has been on the move is Adam Armstrong. He has completed a season-long loan deal. He will be going to Bolton now. I suppose his last season he was out on loan at Barnsley. It was sort of hit and miss for him. He managed to go ahead and grab 6 goals. I think he is capable of getting more than that if he's used in the right way. He's a very direct player, quite short, but an incredibly fast player to play off the line. And if Bolton do use him in the right system, he could be a decent one for them. Also, with the news of Ali Al-Habsi leaving Reading, they have gone ahead and replaced him with Vito Mannone, obviously arriving from Sunderland in a fee around about the region of £2 million. So the question I do ask to Reading fans is Vito Mannone a suitable replacement for Al-Habsi? Because last season, so the amount of points Al-Habsi was actually able to save for Reading was pretty ridiculous. He was on absolute fire for some of the games last season. So will Vito Mannone be a good replacement? Let me know down below. Also as well, Brentford have been quite busy in this transfer window actually, and they've acquired another player, this time from League 2, and that is going to be Ollie Watkins. And last season he was terrific in League 2, playing for Exeter. In his past 2 seasons for Exeter, he's managed to go ahead and grab 15 goals from midfield. So obviously it's yet to be seen whether he'll be able to make the step up to the Championship, but he is signing for 1.8 million, so he's not cheap. But I think it has to be said, there were a lot of Championship clubs who were interested in this guy's signature, so he's obviously got talent. It's just a case of whether Brentford can get the best out of him. A club who I've said I've been a little bit worried about in this transfer window so far are Hull City, but they have been doing some business here, and they have signed Fraser Campbell. Obviously he was a free agent after he was released by Crystal Palace last season, and I think in terms of a Championship striker, Fraser Campbell will be a decent one for Hull City. Obviously it's yet to be seen with some of their other strikers if they're going to be staying at the club, but in terms of a Championship goal scorer, I think that could be a decent one for them. Burton Albion have been able to acquire the services of Hope Akpan. He is signing from Blackburn Rovers, the 25-year-old midfielder, quite a dominant midfielder. He's sort of that box-to-box workhouse sort of player, and as they look to bolster their numbers and hopefully stay in the league for them. And then we move on to Aston Villa, and Aston Villa have been incredibly busy since I recorded my last video. Since I recorded my last video, they managed to go ahead and secure 3 new players, the first of which being El Mohammadi. He's of course arriving from Hull City. He's signing for them for a fee in the region of about £1 million, and the 29-year-old, I think, for the Championship, I think it's a good signing. Let me know down below. The other 2 players, however, are quite considerably older, both of them being 33, the first of which being Glenn Whelan. Now, Glenn Whelan was actually being linked to quite a few Championship clubs, but Aston Villa were the team who finally got the deal over the line. He's signing for them for £1.5 million, but albeit I think they were in need of this sort of player. Jedinak isn't going to be able to play every game of the season, and neither is Glenn Whelan. So they've sort of got 2 players in there who I think are both capable, both very good ball-winning players, and Glenn Whelan once again brings quite a lot of experience to Aston Villa. And as well as that, they've also gone ahead and signed Chris Samba. Now, I do believe that Chris Samba was on trial at Aston Villa for a couple of friendly matches, and of course he's obviously been able to show enough for Steve Bruce to go ahead and take a punt on him. He is 33 years old, and guys, let me know down below, how do you think a defensive partnership of Christopher Samba and John Terry would do in the Championship? Of course, they're 2 quite physical players, quite old players as well, it has to be said. Do you think that the experience would be a good thing, or do you think their lack of pace could be abused in the Championship? We also have quite a few loan deals to talk about, the first of which being Joe Williams. He's arriving to Barnsley, coming from Everton on a season-long loan, and to be expected really. Barnsley do seem to be the sort of club which really does manage to take advantage of quite a few loan deals, and they've got some really good gems in the past few seasons on loan, so Joe Williams could be another. Another player departing Everton on loan for the season will be Matthew Pennington. He signed for Leeds on a season-long loan. I think I don't know too much about Pennington. One thing I do remember is I think he actually scored last season in the Merseyside derby for Everton, so that's something. And then Wolves have just, of course Wolves are in this video, Wolves are just constantly signing people, but they've completed the loan signing of Ruben Vinagre, and once again, I don't know too much about him, but he's coming in from Monaco, the defender, and could be a decent acquisition for Wolves. I mean, they really seem to be going in it. I think this could be a season for Wolves where it's either going to be hit or miss for them. And then one departure from the Championship was that of Jacob Murphy. He's of course leaving Norwich City to go ahead and move to Newcastle United in the Premier League. Norwich fans, let me know down below, are you a little bit disappointed to lose Jacob Murphy, or do you think the fee of around about 12.5 million, you've actually got a good deal on him there? Because you do have other replacements in that area where Jacob Murphy plays. Of course, you've got Josh Murphy, who's a like-for-like replacement, being his twin brother. So there were the completed transfers since I did my last video. I'm sure I missed a couple off, as I don't want these videos to run too long over, but if I have left any off, let me know about them in the comments down below. But apart from that, let's get into some transfer rumours. So one rumour that does look to be almost over the line is that of Darren Randolph, who does look to be going to Middlesbrough. Apparently, a fee has been agreed in the region of about £4.5 million, so it's not cheap, but in my opinion, Randolph is a very capable keeper, especially for the Championship. I think he'd be fantastic for Middlesbrough. Wolves, of course, are still being linked with more players. Of course they are, it's Wolves, but they are currently being linked with a move for Diogo Jota, who is currently playing for Atletico Madrid. Last season, he was out on loan at Porto, who they seem to have quite a good connection with at the moment, and when he was out on loan at Porto, he managed to score 8 goals for them last season. I believe he's a winger who can also play as a striker or a false 9, so he'd be a welcome addition into Wolves. In my opinion, Wolves are still in need of like a prolific goal scorer if they are really going to propel themselves up the league from last season, but once again, more positives for Wolves. And a striker who is seemingly being linked with a lot of Championship clubs at this point in time is Cameron Jerome, and currently at this point in time, the clubs being talked about in terms of interest in Jerome are Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Sunderland. Now, the only sort of stumbling block on this deal is the Norwich do have, he's been valued at around about £6 million. What do you guys think of that? Let me know down below, because of course he is 30 years old, so he's not going to get any better really being 30 years old. However, in my opinion, he does guarantee goals in the Championship. I mean, in his past 2 seasons in the Championship, he's managed to go ahead and grab 34 goals, which in my opinion is a fantastic return for a player like Cameron Jerome. Speaking of Nottingham Forest and the striker, they're also being heavily linked with the move for Newcastle's Daryl Murphy. This does look to be a transfer which will be going through, and once again, Daryl Murphy, a fantastic player for the Championship. I couldn't really see him making that step up to the Premier League, but towards the latter end of last season with Newcastle especially, he really showed that he could still do it at the age of, I think he's about 34 years old, so definitely he's not young, but he's still got it and is still capable of playing in the Championship and would be a decent striker for Forest really. Hull City are being heavily linked with a move at this point in time to Liverpool's Kevin Stewart, and apparently with some reports that he was having a medical today. I'm not sure how factual they actually were, but the current fee being talked about for Kevin Stewart is £8 million, which is a lot of money, I think it has to be said. He is 24 years old. I think for the sake of his career, he does need to leave Liverpool. He's not going to be getting any first team opportunities around there anytime soon, and a move to Hull could suit him. Oliver Norwood is another midfielder who's been linked with a couple Championship clubs. At this point in time, both Fulham and Norwich all being linked with a move for the Brighton man, and I'm led to believe he will be allowed to leave Brighton this season on a loan deal, but for the Championship, for Fulham especially, Norwood would be a fantastic player. I really think he'd suit into the way Fulham play. I mean, we didn't really get to see the best out of him when he was at Brighton last season. However, when he was at Reading especially, I really highly rated him, and I think the way he plays would definitely click into that Fulham midfield and definitely be an asset for them. Leeds United are being linked to once again more Bristol City defenders. In my last video, we talked about Aidan Flint, who was being linked with a move to Leeds United and still is, but they're now also being linked with a move for Bristol City's left back, Joe Byron. And in my opinion, he is a very good player, especially for the Championship, has bags of potential to grow into. I think at Bristol City, has his career stalled a little bit, because in League One, I remember him being absolutely electric for a season, and perhaps his career has stalled a little bit. He is 23 years old, so he's still got a lot of time to go ahead and progress, but maybe a move to Leeds would suit him, almost like it did for Ayling as well. And a bit of news regarding my team, Preston North End. I actually think I've spoke about Preston in probably 3 or 4 episodes of these transfer rumour videos, because we've just not been linked with anyone recently, but one player who has been linked away from Preston has actually been our striker, Jordan Hugill. Now, Preston have rejected a bid of £2.5 million from Birmingham for Jordan Hugill. Now, in my opinion, for Preston to sell Hugill, Birmingham would at least need to double that bid. In my opinion, Hugill is worth about £5 million, really. I mean, last season was his first proper season in the Championship, and he managed to grab 13 goals for us, and I think that £2.5 million, for that money, we wouldn't be able to replace Hugill with. Obviously, as Vito Mannone has left Sunderland, they are in the hunt for a goalkeeper, and currently Sunderland are being linked with a move for Rob Green. Now, apparently Leeds are allowing him to actually leave the club. He's, of course, 37 years old, and Rob Green is a really funny keeper, in my opinion. He just has such inconsistencies, really. One week he'll have a 10 out of 10 game, and then the next week he'll have a massive blunder and he'll have like a 2 out of 10 game. So, Sunderland, would you like to see Rob Green come in, or would you like to see someone, I don't know, maybe a little bit younger come in? And then finally, for the final transfer rumour going on around the Championship at the moment, that is Che Adams. Now, apparently Fulham have actually had a £5 million bid rejected for the services of Che Adams. I think Birmingham will definitely want to be keeping hold of Che Adams this season. I think from what he showed last season, I think Redknapp will be able to bring him on this season, and I'm looking forward to see what he can offer them this season. So there you have it, guys. That will wrap it up for this episode of the Championship Transfer Rumour Roundup. So if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below, and make sure you subscribe as well, as we are really close to 5,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for all the support on the videos recently. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. So make sure you do leave a like. But apart from that, I'll see you all in the next one.